Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Hello, bonjour. You know what? If I choose to not roll my R's,
Oh, sorry.
you can't
I wanted to add on to your R rolling this time as well.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I chose not to. So, welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast. Oh wow! I am the host, Freddie Rivas,
And I'm the producer, Matt Duncan, and I'm wearing the cheapest pair of headphones I've ever had in my life.
Good. You deserve that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for them.
See, Matt didn't bring his headphones,
Yeah,
so
no,
he's having to deal with my dollar store headphones. But check it out; it works. You know
It
what I mean?
works. It works.
You're getting married soon.
I
Pretty excited
am.
about that.
Yeah, a month today.
Woo!
Month today. Right at this time, we'll be, I don't know, starting the speeches or something.
Oh yeah, baby. Well, let's get to talking b-ball ASAP. But
Yeah.
but before that, if people want to, I don't know, support the podcast, share the podcast, donate, which I think is impossible.
We don't have a Patreon.
Yes. But no, yeah. How do they help us out?
Honestly, just go to dunkspodcast.com. All our links are there on the right for iTunes and Stitcher for subscriptions. Also, there's YouTube. We did have a little bit of a surge. We're up to 22 subscribers now.
Okay, calm down.
Yeah. So we're both, testing out Lamborghinis essentially.
Sure.
I think that's what you do at 22.
Yeah.
And Twitter and Instagram, we were heavy into that. Heavy.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you got to tune in or tune out. So
Wow.
Yeah.
You're getting
ultimatum.
You're getting cooler every day.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring on our guests, shall we?
All right. Who's first?
Who's first? Let's bring on my favorite person who understands all things feelings and all things basketball.
Yeah. It's going to be both. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that's true, but no, but she writes for so many publications. I was reading her big Siakam first cover story ever,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, she'll tell you about all the stuff she does. Keep it going at home for Katie Heindl.
Katie?
Hi. I was so entranced by my song.
Oh, good. That's what I like to hear.
I love it. I love my song. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Thanks so much for doing the pod. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I'm feeling a little bit rejected.
Well, you know what? I didn't mean for you to feel that way. And that makes me feel like, Freddie, you need to be more in tune. You know what I mean?
That's all right, man.
Katie, you're amazing.
It's
You're
a
a
long
champion
summer.
now.
I'm a champion?
Yes, I think so. Like, I mean, is this your first time doing the pod since the Raps
It
won?
sure is. It sure is.
Oh, true. You meant it like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, I feel like you're a champion, like in general too. Like, if there's a
Yeah,
good,
champion mentality sometimes.
or if
Yeah.
there's like a good cause, I believe you'd champion that.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Okay, lots of good feelings to go around.
Super positive. I like it.
Let's bring on guest number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. He used to offer me headphones.
Yeah.
On a
Man, we
regular
could really
basis.
use those right now.
We could really use his headphone knowledge. This guy's amazing. He's hilarious. He's such a good comedian. Love talking basketball with him, and he's been on the pod a million times. Give it up. You know him, Ian Gordon.
It is a great intro song, I will say. It's growing on me. It really is.
It makes me
What's going on
giddy
with
every time I hear it.
the headphone situation? You guys got bad headphones right now? What's wrong?
Well, there's 3 bags I'm supposed to bring to the recording, and there's 1 bag I'm not supposed to bring. And guess what? I brought that bag and left the other one at home. So that's the bag that has all the sweet headphones in it.
Yeah,
You should label one bag this bag, and the other bag not this bag.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's good stuff.
Yeah, but you came through. You came through, Fred.
I did.
I might recommend get some SRH 440. Shure SRH 440. It's good headphones.
So
not too pricey, $100. 80, $90.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Ian, would you recommend
cable?
Ian, would you recommend, I don't know, say going to a dollar store near Kiel and Bloor and picking up whatever headphones
Hey man,
you find?
yeah. Honestly, I don't discriminate. Whatever floats your boat, as long as they're working and you're enjoying what you're listening to, you're laughing.
Yeah, everybody sounds like I'm listening through like a cup on a string. So.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
that. Shall we start talking some Raptors ball or what?
I guess, yeah.
Maddie, would you give me that Raptors sting?
Paging Bobby Webster.
One more time, everybody.
There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Just in case anyone forgot.
You know what? I think maybe you need to somehow. I know this is your world.
Yeah.
But you need to merge that one with the Devlin call.
Yeah, I do need to get the Devlin one.
A double whammy going on.
And yeah, we have had some complaints about this one because it's the American one, right?
Hey, it's Mike Breen,
Yeah.
It's a nice call, though.
Yeah, I thought,
he does a good job.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. We the North.
Yeah.
Now we the champion.
Toronto.
Yeah. I like it.
And I'll say the T in Ontario.
It's like a fancy robot. It's like a fancy robot.
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't mind hearing more calls from Bicentennial Man or, I don't know why. You know what? I'll drop it. Let's get going.
Yeah.
So, Katie, I think I'll start with you here because this is a Siakam kind of question. But, I've been watching a lot of those kind of like Rico Hines videos over my boring summer. Okay. And just watching, Fred hit threes from half and Norm's lighting it up and Stanley Johnson looks good and Rondé Hollis-Jefferson looks good and Boucher's doing a bunch of stuff. And I remember that last year we were getting all those videos with Fred, obviously, but Siakam was the one who was really tearing it up. He was playing against Harden and Westbrook and KD, I think, was also there. And, all the players were just kind of saying like, heads up, this guy is about to explode. So yeah, I'm wondering who might be the Siakam this year for the Raptors. I understand it's probably too high of a bar, but just as a kind of fun summer thought exercise.
I feel like it's still Siakam.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've seen him, but he's huge. He's like he got even bigger.
Yeah. He's
like extremely jacked. And I mean, based on like nobody's really doing too much in like tournaments like he did last summer. Last summer he was playing in like every single tournament that would happen, even like some really weird ones. But like in my heart, I want it to be Stanley Johnson.
Ooh, why is that?
But I just like his energy. I saw a picture of him in a jean jacket that was like shearling lined.
Ooh, hello.
I felt that was like pretty powerful. And
he's got a nice haircut.
Good intention. Yeah, he's got a nice haircut. He's got a good vibe. I actually have seen him playing in some camps, and he looks good. I mean, we can talk about this other like pack of freaks that we got coming on, but I think it's either Siakam again or Stanley.
I like that quite a bit, that Siakam take, because I feel like, he had such a massive year that the natural assumption is that he'll plateau maybe, or he'll take a marginal step forward. But, I mean, it's early on, but his trajectory definitely seems to be straight up still. It's not like he's not. Yeah, it does seem like he's like a step back jumper and, taking a bit more care of the ball. Like he's those kind of skills away from being, I don't know, better than Ben Simmons, if he's not already.
I mean, that's not tough. That's not too hard.
Fair. But I mean, like, an all-star.
I mean, he can shoot already. So
yeah,
that's
true.
Good.
But yeah, like, I mean, a player that's kind of like talked about is like, oh, I see. Like, this person's going to be an all-star for many years in a row, as opposed to like, oh, maybe he'll be an all-star a couple times in his career.
Yeah. No, I think it's still Siakam. Like, I don't really think his ceiling, he's not anywhere close, I think. And like, as you said, he's got to get, he kind of adds this like control element to his game. And as soon as he can he did that last year, he was really like harnessing his explosiveness and kind of picking his moments. But, he could add like a reliable 3-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
He could probably I'd like to see more defensive play from him this year. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. He's I don't know why we got to pick someone new. We've got the guy.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so Ian, I don't know. Are you thinking Siakam as well, or is it her?
I really like that answer. It's true. I think that he does have room to grow. Like, he's still really young and he's still developing his game. It's true. That's it. But I've always been super high on OG as well. I think he's going to maybe take a big leap. I don't know. I really want him to. I think he can be an amazing defensive player for us. And he was a reliable scorer when he was on Indiana. Like, he was a really good player. He's just so athletic. So I think if he's harnessed properly and everything that's going on with the team and the positive vibes therein and the championship swagger, I think he's poised to take a leap for sure on the Raps. I think he might start, right? He might start.
I think he has a really good chance of starting. I mean, I guess it could be Rondé Hollis-Jefferson as well, but
I think,
OG, he seems primed for more responsibility, more minutes, more shots.
And I think that's an exciting prospect for me because I think he's just such an amazing two-way player. I think he can be such a good defender for us on the perimeter, and that's such an amazing element because we've got scoring, and like you said, Siakam will probably take a leap even more so offensively, right? His athleticism is there and his ability to go from paint to paint. But if he develops that 3-point shot, like Katie said, or if he just has more patience in the post, like, he can give us the points. Also, there's even less pressure on OG to score, even so much so. He could just be kind of like really take his time and develop really well this year. Also, one other guy, because I like Ruby on the Wizards.
Who?
I think he might have a really good year.
Oh, Rui. Yeah,
Rui. Oh, Rui Hachimura. Yeah.
Too, you know what I mean? He's from Japan, which is super cool. Everybody's thought he's really got a good NBA body already. He's a big dude. He looks super athletic. He's going to play. I think he's going to start in Washington. They're going to be really bad, but he'll get lots of touches at their starting four. So he might have a shot at. I mean, who knows what will happen with Zion? Obviously amazing. And they're going to have tons of opportunities too. But I look for Rui as being kind of my dark horse rookie.
Ooh, I like that.
I saw Rui play at Summer League, and I really liked him. I liked him better than Zion.
Wow,
that's cool. That's awesome.
By the way, Katie, I know you were at Summer League. Were you at the Zion Earthquake game?
I was.
Oh my goodness! What was that like?
It was really scary.
Yeah.
I think I was sitting with Blake Murphy and Ryan Walstat, and we're so dumb. We're the only Canadians in the media section, and so we were who's shaking the seats underneath us? Who's below the bleachers?
I would be like that.
They covered the media section in black tablecloths. All the tables are covered. There's it's carpeted, so it's not the cement seats that go all the way around. So we were oh. In our minds, we thought we were just in some temporary bleacher rickety seats and someone was underneath in the tunnel, shaking them. And then we all looked up at the same time and the Jumbotron is swaying like a pendulum back and forth.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. And then people are also streaming up to the exit. So we were oh shit, it's an earthquake. We're so dumb.
Wow.
Yeah. It was very scary. They cleared the floors. They obviously stopped the game after a while. Stopped the rest of the games for the night, but it was, that was pretty crazy. Very memorable, but crazy.
And then, so basically you were oh my God, no one was shaking the floor. It was an actual earthquake. That's so scary.
Just 1,000 clowns.
And then someone just like flashed you their phone and they're like, oh, FYI, Kawhi just got traded.
Yeah, basically, as I was like getting back, that was like the longest day too, because I got there that day. I was up super early for my flight, same flight as Nick Nurse. And it was like long, hot, overwhelming first day of summer league. And like grabbed a bike, got back to the hotel. As I was like climbing into bed, I was like, man, I got to call it. All the texts started coming in. Turn on the TV. Kawhi's gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Jeez.
Honestly, I feel like maybe we should turn that day into like an animated story with you voicing it. You know what I mean? Like, who's the guy who pitched a perfect game? But he was on acid.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you weren't on acid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't need drugs in this story or whatever. But it's pretty wild. Just to get kind of back on topic here, although I feel like I might throw more random summer league questions at you throughout. But my guy is kind of, I feel like there's a part of me that just keeps doing what everyone does to a small player. And you look at him and you're like, okay, you've peaked. You know, you're 6 foot, you're 5'11", like that's it. Mm-hmm. You can't play much better. Then there's another part of me that is like, you know, in the same way we're talking about Siakam just like always getting better, there's something about Fred that is just, I don't know. He kind of like finds a way to win or to get better constantly. And just, you know, there's a part of me that thinks after this amazing finals series he had against Steph Curry, I feel like he's looking in the mirror and he's like, you're better than Steph. Mm-hmm. Heads up. You know what I mean? Like his confidence is so intense that, you know, if Kyle misses 10 games, I think Fred's going to be like, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. Mm-hmm. Like he's that type of guy where it just seems every single opportunity he gets, he thrives in. Mm-hmm. And I mean, for sure, you know, he massively struggled in those first two series and size will be an issue and Steph's kind of skinny and it's a different story when you're going up against like a big, strong point guard like Donovan Mitchell or something like that. But Fred, he just has an undeniability about him. So he was kind of who I was thinking of when I said this question. But really, if anyone kind of, I think, did Matt just mute me?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, what was that about?
Sorry, it was involuntary. I was like, I don't know.
Okay, he was looking at me, and then he pressed a button, and I went quiet. Dude.
Sorry. Funny headphones.
Oh, baby. That was good times. I mean, I don't know where I was going. Fred's awesome.
Yeah.
Great name. And
is that all I got to do to get you to move on? Just mute you for a second?
Just mute me, and that's like my own anxiety will kick right in. You know what I mean? Okay, Ian, I'm gonna start with you on this one. So I'm just gonna like lay this question out. You know, I'm gonna ride my insecurity here. Am I, Freddie Rivas, a moron for not hating Andrew Wiggins?
I don't think so. I don't know, man. I've always liked him. Maybe it's the Canadian bias, you know, but I think that he hasn't gotten the shot. There's a lot of critiquing him, and there should be. It's justified. There is times when you watch him play, and you're like, is he trying? You know,
right?
But you wonder if he deserves a break. He's been in the and I've always thought that way. I've always liked the guy. And I was thinking, I was like, well, what's the reason? And I was looking it up, and he's been in the league 5 years. His rookie year, they were 16 and 66 under Flip Saunders.
Yep.
Then the next year, Sam Mitchell comes in, 33 wins. And then he has Tibbs and Jimmy. And, you know, if you're led to believe that Jimmy's not the best teammate for especially a young, timid guy, maybe he's just been in the worst possible situation. He's one of these guys where it's going to go either way, right? There's a fork in the road for Wiggins, and it's either continue getting, you know, your 19 a game, but not really being very impactful,
right?
Or dig in and be the player that you can be. And he doesn't have to do that much because he's got the scoring numbers. He can obviously score the ball, but like, as you know, his career stats is looking at his 4 rebounds a game, 2 assists a game. For a guy who's that athletic and who's 6'8" and has his eyes at the court, it should be a lot better. You know, if
Right.
he can go, you know, even if he went 19-5-5, all of a sudden we're talking about a way more impactful player, even somebody who you're like, okay, this guy's actually getting there. If he did that this year, if he got it, even his assist and rebound numbers up a bit, then you're like, okay, you know, I can dig this guy. And also dunk on somebody, please. Like when you watch his high school YouTube stuff, you're like, I was so excited to see him in the NBA just shit on people.
He did have that. I think it was his second year. He did have that like 2-week span where he was like headhunting.
Mm-hmm.
He dunked on Gobert. He dunked on a bunch of people.
And he's unbelievable at that. And has he ever done a dunk contest?
No,
I don't think he ever did.
No, yeah, he's one of the many like, kind of like first overall picks that like would clearly be amazing in a dunk off that didn't do it. Although I think part of that was that he played with Zach LaVine and he was like, it's this guy's show, and he's also on my team, true. So I'm just going to maybe support him. I
don't know. I just think that Wiggins can. I don't think you're crazy for hating him because he can blossom. Of all the players in the NBA, you're like potential to grow and to be very good. Yeah, he's there. Maybe he'll never be like a dynamic superstar, like a team altering player, but he could be a really good number 2 player. He could. Who knows? His career arc is still not all the way there. He's only 24, 25, right? So
yeah, he's 24.
2-3 years are gonna. Yeah, the next 2-3 years are gonna really kind of suss out his whole journey in the NBA for sure.
Okay, before I jump to Katie here, I was definitely expecting. I mean, we'll see if she kind of like agrees with me and Ian, or if you know, she'll kind of like give me a shake here. But you know, part of my I think what I'm getting kind of like my NBA thoughts are always circling around the fact that there just seems to be such a massive split with when a player gets overpaid. It's kind of like just like, you know, there's a bit of an NBA hive mind where they're like, well, they're not worth that contract, therefore they suck. And I hear that a lot about Blake, about Westbrook, obviously DeRozan, and I think Wiggins is kind of like he's becoming the poster boy for that. And there's also this kind of trend to, you know, throw a player's progress out when they're 23, 24, when we know that so many players get it like 25, 26, 27, and they put together their best years as they're approaching 30. So, I mean, I get if you're trying to like measure, you know, a championship arc, you have to kind of like be an architect, and a big part of that is money. And we've seen how you can do that in the most brilliant way with a guy like Masai Ujiri. But yeah, I just feel like system and development are such big parts of it. And yeah, there was just like a silly rumor about, should the Raptors trade Ibaka for Wiggins? And I kind of like had that feeling of like, you know, if Masai knows he can make Wiggins good, it could be one of those things that, you know, people would just pan, obviously, but then long term maybe wouldn't be bad. I mean, I don't think this team needs to take any silly risks, and I love Ibaka, so I'm not trying to slander him. But okay, enough of me. Katie, am I a moron for not hating Andrew Wiggins?
No, I don't. Like, that's too. Like, I think he's annoying. I'll get that out there. He's like an annoying player to me, and I think, to Ian's point, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be less scared because his house got broken into and he was robbed like a week ago.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Yeah,
that's awful.
Don't worry, only $1,000 worth of shoes and his luggage. So,
oh my god,
that's okay.
Holy cow!
Wow, Katie, breaking news over here.
You know me, I got my summer vacation watch going.
Yeah,
that's not a vacation, but
yeah, that doesn't make like the highlight reel.
Was he on vacation when it happened?
No,
he wasn't home, so that's good. But I haven't seen a vacation from him this summer. No.
Wow.
I agree with your point, though. Like, it really, really bothers me, especially when we know how much longer guys can stay in the league now, just based on like health and fitness and the way that, you know, careers are lengthened from even like 5 years ago. So to say he's like hit his peak? I don't think so. I guess like he doesn't. I don't feel strongly about him that I hate him or think that you're a moron for not hating him. Again, I just think he's kind of annoying. I think I really found him annoying when Jimmy and him played together, and like him and Karl Anthony Towns were just kind of these like almost like seem like bratty teams to me.
Yeah,
like,
Andrew Wiggins' brother like tweeted something about Jimmy at one point.
Yeah, they're like, we don't like this guy. He likes to work too hard. We want to play video games, and like, I mean, I'm extremely biased because I love Jimmy Butler. I know he's got like a mental work ethic, but like, still, that could have been a good opportunity. There was obviously more going on, but I don't know. I think maybe he hasn't like quite had a fair shake yet. But that said, like, if he's going to, this is kind of going to be the year he's got to make himself have one. He's really got to push himself into it because I think you stop getting opportunities in the league. Even if you can stay in the league, you stop getting this kind of spotlight opportunities.
That's a great,
after a certain point.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. And I think that's kind of maybe why I'm thinking about Andrew Wiggins, because I don't think anyone projects Minnesota to be a playoff team. So for them even to be, in like scratching distance of like 8th place or 9th place, Towns and Wiggins Saunders Jr. are going to have to really, really have an excellent season. They're all going to have to, like, everyone on Minnesota would have to have a banner year, I think, for them to make 8th place.
Oh God,
or 7th place. Like the West is that stacked, and yeah, it could be a year where the West is just such a different world than the East. I think it could genuinely be a year where you see a bunch of like pretty good teams survey the league and just say, we can't compete in this climate. Like, even though we have Towns and Wiggins, we're going to have to reconfigure this. Like, maybe we'll keep Towns and try and get rid of and rebuild around him and use our money differently because we've misallocated it, by giving Wiggins a max. But I'm hopeful that he'll progress, because I always feel bad. It's weird, but you shouldn't feel bad for a first overall pick who gets a ton of opportunity in the NBA. But it is an intense amount of pressure. Like, there's a huge difference between being the first pick and the second pick. Like, even though it's not, the financial difference is not that massive, it's like if you're a first overall pick, people really expect you to be like a potential MVP candidate, and I think a lot of them are not.
It's so weird to me that that's still the expectation, though, because like we've kind of seen from almost every single draft year that it's like a crapshoot.
Totally. I mean, look at Fultz.
Dudes that end up, exactly. Like dudes that end up as like all-stars are like, oh, they went like second round, or they went like dead last in like the first round.
For sure. Giannis is an obvious example, but even a guy like James Harden, who has been, he has, in the last 4 years, he's been 3 runner-ups and 1 MVP. He was drafted 3rd overall. So, he wasn't even the guy who was like, oh, this is the person who's going to change the NBA. And he has.
It's funny, Freddie, you're right though. You can name a lot of the number 1 overall busts, like Kwame Brown and our boy
Bennett,
and was Michael Olowokandi number 1 overall?
Oh yes, he was.
But I can't name, and there's been plenty of number 2 overall busts, I'm sure, but I can't name them as easily.
Yeah, the one I always think of is Hasheem Thabeet, because he was so bad. And
he number 2?
He was drafted 2nd overall. Yeah, and he had he had like that kind of like Schroeder blonde tip.
Was he on UConn?
He was on yes, and then I think he was drafted to OKC, I think.
And they won that. They think they won it that year. That's maybe why.
Okay, let's do another temperature reading here. Katie, I'm going to start with you. Are you less or more excited for this Raptors season than you were last year?
I'm more, because last year I was so upset going into the start of the season.
Totally.
So, it took me a long time to get on board the Kawhi train, and I was pretty hurt about DeRozan, the way it all went down for a while, which I'm not ashamed to say. It took me a while to process it. So no, I'm stoked. Like, I'm stoked because of what Lowry said this summer, just how much, like, how intent he seems to be, and like he's really not shying away from like saying the thing what everybody's thinking. But in the past, maybe the Raptors would be scared to say like, "Hey, we're still contenders."
I love
like,
that. It made me feel so good.
Yeah. No, it like that makes me feel super stoked. I'm super stoked to see like we like essentially still have the same core, just now they're like super amped and like extremely confident, and they've all been working pretty hard all summer. And now we have like these some weird new pieces that like I'm pretty unfamiliar with, and I always like getting to know a bunch of new guys when they get thrown in the mix, and we got a lot thrown in the mix. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited. And the opening night's on my birthday.
Whoa. I absolutely have to go to the opening night. Like,
oh, you want to see the banner?
I got to do it. I got to do it. Like I
the banner, the ring,
everything. Zion.
Yeah.
Zion.
Yeah, it's huge.
The earthquake, another earthquake.
Yeah, another earthquake. LeVar Ball will be there probably.
Oh my God.
It's going to be.
Oh my God, he might.
He might.
He'll be there for sure. He'll be there.
Yeah, like he's going to have like a post game presser, and he'll be like, Zion didn't pass Alonzo enough. But I think Ian, before I jump to you, like that's generally, I mean, I was super sad about DeRozan, but I think I did get really excited really quickly last year because I thought we could make it to the finals, and I thought we could maybe challenge G State if they didn't play the marathon game right, and they did not. And it all worked out, and it was magical. But this year, I was on a message board recently, and I was kind of saying, like, I think this year's for the hardcores. Last year was for the hardcores and the bandwagoners. And I think even this year, if it goes so ridiculously well where we do repeat or make it to the finals, I could see the bandwagoners just denying the whole time. They being like, no, we're not that good. And then basically like at the last second being like, oh shit, we're in the finals again.
Yeah.
Because, without a guy like Kawhi, without this like takeover person, it just doesn't fit any natural basketball narrative for like regular folks. And I think that's why so many people are looking at the league and they're seeing like they're looking at whichever team has two really good stars or two superstars, and they're saying that's the contender. And I think what's false about that is that there's just no G State. So there's about 12 contenders in my mind. And I think the Raptors are for sure one of them. And I think I'm so excited because I just really, really trust Masai. So, whether it's Rondé Hollis-Jefferson or Terrence Davis or, shooter Matt Thomas or Stanley Johnson or even Boucher, like I feel like Masai has everything in place that he wants long term, and Kawhi was an asterisk. Like it was something that he had to go for, and he went for it, and it worked, and now it's on to the next. Like just watching him tour Basketball Without Borders, on Instagram with Siakam, and just bringing Siakam around and saying like this guy is a superstar, and the confidence in which Masai is saying that it just makes me feel great. Ian, it's okay if you don't feel great about this season because.
I do.
Yeah.
You guys made a lot of good points, and I think that everything is exciting about this year. Like, yeah, if you were to take me, last year at this time versus this year at this time, I'm more excited for sure. There's a lot to look forward to. Even something as nice as a Christmas Day game, like
totally.
It's something that we've never had before. It's friggin' amazing. We get to watch Raptors play on Christmas.
I hope it's so cold. Like I hope we have an unseasonably cold Christmas, and then every American broadcaster is like, "It was so cold, I almost died," and we're like, "Yeah, it was, wasn't it?" You know what I mean? Sorry.
Speaking of that, I think it's also I'm excited to hear all the American pundits and color commentators have to say world champion Toronto Raptors all year long. That's great.
Yes.
We should have like take a sip of beer every time you hear that game. That would be fun. Although they'll probably try not to say it as much as they can.
I know, but that'll be fun because you got to carry beer like everywhere, like at church or whatever.
Yeah, that's true too. Oh, I think, I don't know. And again, looking what a lot of teams and a lot of players don't have is the championship swagger, the pressure off your back to win. Especially if you're one of these players who really wants to win, you've done it. You've got that. You can watch the banner go up. You can live all that stuff. And now you can just play hard and play basketball. They don't have to worry about anything. They've got all this pressure and everything is kind of washed away. They have low expectations. It's always interesting when a championship team is sort of being undervalued and has lower expectations. I think it bodes well for them. They can kind of use that as momentum. And again, Nick Nurse being there again, just more comfortable. Like you said, Masai, I think there's lots to look forward to in this team for sure.
Yeah. They're underestimating us again. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey man, and we're going to get into this in terms of the East, but if you really kind of break it down, we're not going to have like a bad year.
No,
if
not
you
at
look
all.
at the other teams.
But
hey, it's tougher. Yeah.
Orlando's going to be better than us. That's what ESPN said. So
that's true.
Well,
sorry, Ian.
Yeah, you're right.
Jonathan Isaac, we can't stop him, right?
I don't. That's a weird. They really do. They don't like it. They come here and they're jealous. That's what it is.
That's right. They're jealous of our sweet, sweet cold. Okay, I think is there any more Raptors stuff? Katie, is there? You were on the flight with Nick Nurse. I feel like I don't want to. Is there anything weird that happened in Vegas that you could let us know about? If not, that's okay.
The flight was funny because it was super delayed, so I don't want to point. I mean, I don't want to make any accusations, but I just heard a man kind of with a Nick Nurse sounding voice being extremely loud at the gate when it was time to board. And I was like, oh, that guy's got a hat on. Could be Nick Nurse hat. Sounds like Nick Nurse.
Oh, wow.
And then the only way I knew, though, because I was like, Nick Nurse wouldn't just be out here. I think he'd be keeping a low profile. But then this guy turned around and he was wearing a guitar, and it was Nick Nurse.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was fishing in my mind. I'm like, Freddie, what are you doing? You got other subjects here. Don't just ask Katie if anything weird happened. And then you tell me that.
Plane,
oh my God.
It gets better. On the plane, he was wearing, I got on the plane, he's in first class. Unfortunately, I didn't get to hear what he got to continue saying. But as I walked through, he was he's wearing mirrored blue aviators on the plane, still wearing his guitar, standing in his seat, lecturing the flight attendant about the mentality of winning. But it could have been out of context. It could have just been about them doing their job.
Hey,
who knows?
when you're flying in the air,
for sure.
What's that, Ian?
I said Nick Nurse has been eating his Wheaties.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Lecturing the flight attendants, eh?
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, Nikki, you know what I mean?
Did he pull out the guitar and make everyone sing Country Road, Take Me Home or whatever?
No, I wish I got to see what they did with his guitar, but I have a feeling he bought a seat for it.
Wait. Matt, were you just trying to reference Little Nas's Old Town Road?
That's better.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
okay.
but no.
Sorry, Country Road, Take Me Home. That's a real thing. Okay,
John
sorry.
Denver, yeah.
I thought you totally didn't know, but we're trying to sound young. Oh, it's a Country Road, Take Me Home, Billy Ray, right? That's fun. Well, I mean, Katie, if you want to, anytime you feel like chiming in with a, oh wait, is that over, or did he lecture the pilot?
He may have gone on to lecture the pilot, but there was people behind me. I had to get to my seat.
Oh, that's good. Oh, Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
Cheers. Okay, let's do some NBA stuff. Maddie, would you give me that NBA sting?
This is Adam Silver.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, you're ready to go now? After staring at me and playing
yeah, no, I don't blink.
The Adam Silver tugboat sound?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Classic.
I thought I was being cool because when the music was dun, dun, I was like, hey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever. But okay, let's start with you, Ian. So these are just kind of like, I guess, Boogie got injured and then the Lakers are, this is just a real GM kind of like, who are the Lakers considering? And it might be none of these people. But say something kind of quick about DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Howard, Marcin Gortat, Joakim Noah, and Mo Speights. And, if it's like yes, no, or something like that, that's okay.
I can just be quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel bad about Boogie. He's had this weird career where it's ups and downs and shot himself in the foot a bunch of times. It's too bad that happened to him. Dwight Howard, I don't know. He's an eight-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, and he could still be good, but you wonder if him going back to LA has more drama than it's worth for them. Gortat's probably the most sensible. He's still probably the best player versus not having to deal with any kind of potential locker room stuff. And Noah, he's a great athlete. I think he's kind of done. I wouldn't rely on him. His dad, awesome tennis player as well. And Mo Speights, I don't know. I don't think he's impactful enough to do anything. Great little shooter, and he had those years on Golden State where he was handy, but if I'm picking anybody, it's Gortat.
Okay. Katie, what would you say about these 5 NBA players?
I am so sad about Boogie. Like, legitimately, kind of heartbroken.
It's brutal.
Because I just think, like, there isn't anyone I can think of more who just, like, best laid plans just, like, don't stick for. And for no reason, really. Not that there's any reason or rhyme or reason for anyone getting hurt, but, like, I don't know, man. Like, Boogie just can't catch a break. It bummed me out even the way he, like, got his Golden State contract. Like, they basically just gave him, like, walking around money to come there. And then, like, the fact that, like, he couldn't even get a team, it seemed like, he was going to have the same kind of hard time getting signed this year than he did. And then, like, this happened in service to his country.
I know.
Which is even crazier. And it's just, like, I was also stoked. So I guess this is a little longer than one thing, but I was also stoked because he was, like, going to be reunited with Anthony Davis, which I feel like he really needed, even, like, off the court as just, like, a friend, like somebody in his corner kind of. And because they obviously probably weren't going to play that much together, but like,
I thought they played, it took a bit, but I thought they played well together in New Orleans.
They played great, and they are legitimately, like, best friends. So I was like, finally, he can at least catch a break in this way. So I don't know, like, the Boogie stuff, like, I can't think of anything that really bumps me out as much, honestly.
Oh, totally.
I don't know. I think it's Gortat going to the Lakers would be funny because he just left the Clippers. Yeah. Also, he really seemed to like LA a lot. Like, it had the same effect on him that it seemed to have on Boban. Like, they just kind of shone in the sun. I don't know. Dwight Howard's extremely weird. It's weird to think he's still, like, playing. Nothing against Dwight, but it seems like he shouldn't be in the league anymore. He just seems, I just mean, nothing against him, but he's, like, of a bygone era to me. I think I love the Speights Cowboys. That's cool for him. Wait. But that's also random.
What's the Speights Cowboy thing?
Mo Speights. Have you not heard that as his nickname?
People call him the Cowboy?
Space Cowboy? Oh, that's
Space Cowboy.
What?
You should get him on the team just for that nickname alone.
How did I not know this? Space Cowboy? God. That's the best nickname in the league.
It's pretty good.
Oh, my goodness. That's fantastic.
Oh, man. You should play it up and get, like, a cowboy hat and everything. That'd be awesome.
And that would be the place for it, right? Like, definitely you could just, like, be cruising down the strip.
Yeah, the West Coast and a convertible, like El Dorado.
Oh my god,
hey, look.
That's good stuff. That's
Cowboy.
some. I mean, listen, my partner's a big Dolly fan, and we listen to some modern country. So shout out to Casey Musgraves. I know you listen to the pod. You're a big celeb, but you still listen to the pod or whatever. If you could just do your kind of cowboy song, and just like instead of like saying cowboy, you could like do the lead up but throw in Mo Speights' name. Anyways, thanks.
Cowboy.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm glad it brought everybody so much joy.
Yeah. Dude, that's amazing.
And then, I don't know. I don't like Joakim Noah. Yes. I could see him playing on that team. Sure.
Yeah, like, first of all, I totally agree. I mean, how does anyone not feel completely sad for Boogie? Like, even if you compare him, to a guy like Isaiah Thomas, Boogie was kind of like, he was like, his whole career was heading to this massive contract, whereas Isaiah had kind of like taken this opportunity and played himself into that potential contract. But yeah, anytime someone gets that close to that amount of money, and then it's just a series of misfortunate events, like that's the reason they don't get it. That to me, it sucks. Like injuries suck in general. But to me, there's a difference between like, KD, he tore his Achilles, and then Brooklyn was like, okay, here's your 4-year Supermax or whatever. And for a guy like Boogie, people are like, oh, we don't know if you're going to be good. Therefore,
and it's so weird to me. Yeah, like I really don't get it. Like he's never shown. He's like the optics around him have like fluctuated and changed with every injury.
I know, yeah, and I mean, like I don't know how much money he turned down from New Orleans, but I think it was quite a bit. So that's obviously frustrating too. And yeah, just in terms of the other guys, like Mo Speights, I can't add anything else except Speights Cowboy. My God. Dwight Howard is another guy where, I mean, like, I'm not like rooting for his redemption, but it always does throw me when people have such a like kind of like unspectacular end to what was a fairly spectacular career. I even feel that way a little bit with Melo. Like, I'm not like, oh, Melo, he deserves this, like, because there's so many players. But it is weird to me when someone goes from like such a height, and then that's just it. They're totally irrelevant, and they can never gain relevancy again. Noah, I thought, did a really good job in Memphis at the end of the year there. So I'm kind of interested in him not going to the Lakers. Like, I want him to go somewhere for a team that I want to root for a little bit. And I think Gortat, Polish Hammer. I didn't really know he loves LA, but obviously I trust Katie. Gortat, do your thing. You know what I mean? Okay. Who did I start with last time? Was it Katie or Ian?
Ian.
Okay, so let's go with you, Katie. Oh yeah, all right. So I want to rank the East all together.
Okay.
And here's what I'm thinking. So we'll start from the top, and yeah, this is a team building exercise. So if you say blank, I think Cleveland's going to be number 1, then we have to go with that. And then whoever's next,
you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. I don't think that's
Cleveland number 1.
I was just trying to think of an extreme example.
No, I know.
Okay, so I think
Cleveland finishes number 2.
Yeah. Let's be real. I think Kevin Love. I mean, is there any chance he doesn't get MVP? Okay, Katie, who's going to be number 1 in the East regular season record?
Toronto.
Wow, really? Do you like? Oh my God! I mean, like, we can't argue it because you got first pick. But is that
Toronto?
Oh, I love 100%. That confidence. So what is
I like that.
Vegas has us at like 46 wins. So you're just like, they're completely wrong.
They're always wrong. Like, they were wrong every other year. And like, Toronto, this is the thing that's like crazy to me. I got this a lot in Vegas when people were like, oh, how are you holding up? Like, someone I knew had died.
I know.
When they found out about Kawhi. But I was like, guys, like, because it's mostly dudes. But like, Toronto, without him, like, he still had the best like regular season record of like pretty much any team. And like, we kind of slacked off at the end of last regular season with good reason. But like, that part of the season doesn't worry me at all.
I totally
we know how to
agree.
handle that.
Yeah, we're. I mean, I love that. Like, I don't think I have them at first, but that's maybe just because I'm trying to be modest.
I'm done being modest this year. That's what I decided.
I love it. Because last year I was like very timidly. I started off confidently being like, "We got Kawhi. We're going to the finals," and then I told Matt I was going to say that every single podcast, and then I don't know if he clocked it, but I stopped saying it. But I still believed it. You know what I mean? Okay, Ian, who's the Raptors are going to finish first in the East? Who's going to finish second?
If you look at all the rosters, I think Milwaukee will still finish second. I think they've got the deepest, other than the Raps, who we have so many usable players. Milwaukee's like that too. They they did lose Brogdon, and that's not nothing. But they still have Wesley Matthews is good, and George Hill, and they got Korver, I think, too, don't they?
I think so. Yeah, they got the other Lopez brother.
You know what I mean? Like they've got so I think they'll still be good, and I don't think it was between them and Boston, if I can say that. But I don't want to say too much. Who do you think's third?
You know what? I'm glad you said that because it gives me the opportunity to say Philly will be in third.
Okay.
And that, just because I'm a, petty dude or whatever, like I know that even for this group exercise, Boston doesn't get to be number 3. Cheers. Yeah. I'm cool, eh? No, I mean, my thing with Philly is, I don't think it's more complicated than Al Horford is always one of the most underestimated players in the NBA. I think that spacing issues will be there, shooting issues will be there, but I think kind of continued development and I also like that they reinvested in Brett Brown, who did such a good job that I think maybe that some of his job security, that those kind of like negative feelings are going to be gone. And just to touch on the Raptors for a sec, I'm really happy that we have that with Nurse this year. Like he's exceeded so well that he doesn't have this whole, like Casey every single year was like, am I going to get fired? And I think that when you operate with a level of confidence, of job confidence, it can kind of bring out, the best. And I'm also just a massive fan of Embiid. I just think he's such a fantastic player. And when we played him in the playoffs, he could score 8 points and have like a plus 45. He just blankets the court on defense. Great. And, we'll see how he holds up. But, Philly's already talking about load management with Embiid. So I think their head's in the right place. Who knows if Simmons will ever be able to shoot the ball. But, Philly's my number 3. Katie, who's your number 4?
I'm going to go with the Nets.
Brooklyn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like this. Yeah. Like, is that like, are you confident in that or?
Yeah, because I think the Nets really reminded me weirdly of like kind of upstart Raptors last year, and they were really good. And Jared Allen, who I just loved anyway, but saw him also at Summer League, is incredible. Was incredible last season. Was incredible in the summer. Is kind of having like
Sorry.
I love that he was at Summer League, obviously, because I got to just watch him all the time. But he wanted to. I think it's similar to what Pascal did last summer. Like he just wants to play as much as possible,
right?
And it's working. So, and then Durant's obviously not going to play. Right. Kyrie's for sure going to help them, but just the energy they had last year, they can keep it going if those guys kind of alchemize properly, and don't blow apart the chemistry. I think that's kind of what happened in Boston,
right,
with Kyrie. But if it works, then I think Brooklyn will be very fun to watch.
And I think, with Kyrie getting traded to Boston, you had this magical run with Rozier and Brown and Smart and Tatum, and they were all kind of like, okay, this is my time. And Kyrie just is coming in with a different attitude. And I think by removing Russell and putting in Irving, there's it's pretty clear that he's the max, kind of alpha guy. And I also just realized that they got Taurean Prince on a pretty good deal. So I think he's a massive acquisition. And they have a very modern team. I think people are a bit too high on Karis LeVert. But he's one of those guys who was he was pretty good for a bit, and people are I guess, All-Star easily next year. Take it easy. Take it easy.
It's a weird guy to have a really strong opinion about.
No, he's just one of the. I feel like he's yeah, that's true. You know what? I gotta keep.
Freddie.
I know. I gotta keep an eye on my devil's advocate meter, because it's I'm searching for who everyone just automatically agrees is good, and I'm why do I think he's bad? No, I think he's good, but anyways, I think it's a pretty good pick. Ian, is this Boston's time? Number 5?
I think so. I think they're. I don't know. I think it sounds like Kyrie was. I like Kyrie. I've always been a fan of him. But it didn't seem whatever was going on there. Not privy to, but it seemed like he was part of a problem and not a solution in terms of them winning games.
Right.
And I think Kemba Walker is a Celtic player, is a Brad Stevens player. He's somebody who has been chomping at the bit to win, playing on Charlotte forever. He was a winner in college. Like, I think that if you combine him being selfless and being able to score when they need him to score, and if you look at Tatum having pressure that taken off of him and him being able to go forward, Brown, even if Brown takes a little bit, plays a little bit better, or even with more confidence. And I also like, they're a little thin at center, it seems, but I like Taco Fall, man. Who knows? What if Taco comes in and plays 10, 12, 15 strong minutes for you? He's absolutely enormous.
He is ridiculously tall.
Yeah, man. And it seems like he might be able to play that long in the NBA, 15 minutes a night as your backup center. And I also like Carson Edwards. I think he might be a pretty good little point guard for them. He was good, man.
Was he in summer league?
He was on Purdue. Pardon me?
Was he at summer league, Katie?
Who? Sorry, Taco?
Carson Edwards.
Carson Edwards.
Carson Edwards. I don't remember. You know how many guys are in summer league? It's crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah,
but I think that he might have a good year, and I think that he might add something to the team. And getting Kyrie out of there was obviously an issue. And Kemba Walker he's a different player, but he's every bit as competent a point guard as Kyrie, and I think he'll fit their system better. So I think that the Celtics at 5 is fair.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll go Indiana at 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that they lost Bojan and Thaddeus Young, which is pretty substantial. But I think the continued development of like Sabonis, Turner, Brogdon, I'm pretty high on, even if he has some like a year of adjusting to having more responsibility. And as long as Oladipo's not out too long, I think that there's a pretty significant separation between these top 6 teams in the East and everybody else. So I think that they should be able to kind of like have a pretty decent, winning record. And I think 7 and beyond, might be flirting with 500 type squads. So, was that a good pick? You too, Indiana?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay, we're doing it. Right? We're doing this.
Yeah.
Katie.
Wait, so where are we at?
So
6?
Here we go.
Okay.
We're at 7.
Here we go.
That was 6 already? My God.
Raptors, Bucks, Sixers, Nets, Boston, Indiana, and number 7's on you, Katie.
Oh, man.
I gotta say, Boston's way too high, but that's fine. That's what we're doing here.
I love the Boston hate.
I guess. Oh, Miami. I think Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Jimmy
have a good
Miami.
roster.
Yeah.
If they get Paul too.
Pardon?
What if they get Paul? Chris Paul?
What if they
got Dragic, don't they?
Well, they got
Dragic
Butler.
and Jimmy, that's a pretty damn good call.
Dragic and Jimmy. I don't know. I could see them getting Chris Paul. I don't know. Like, he'll fit in really well on that. In the like Heat system and like on this specific roster if they do get him. But if they don't get him, it's still like a pretty great team. I don't know. Jimmy, like, again, big Jimmy fan. I think he's gonna have the year he like has meant to have the last 2 years. Like, first with the Wolves, it was supposed to be like, oh, this is his big chance. He's gonna be like the franchise leader. Didn't happen, and then the Sixers like kind of fizzled out too. Like, had a fine year, but just like wasn't anything spectacular with that team. He's like enjoying himself already in Miami, and that's going to be a big factor. He's like playing dominoes in the park with old guys. He's wearing all his like
amazing.
Miami hats.
That's awesome.
He's like
Jimmy's such a great character.
He's like checking out all the like Dexter filming spots.
I think if Jimmy's in a good mood, he's going to play really well for them, and I think they might even be higher than 7 personally, because Justice Winslow and Kelly Olynyk are good, and they got Deion Waiters, who's a great little weird, off the bench guy. Like, you know what I mean? They're not bad.
I'm starting to rethink this a little bit. I kind of like in my mind.
Be higher than the Pacers.
I have Miami out of the playoffs only because I think it's too much responsibility for Jimmy and he doesn't have enough help. Because Dragic, I'm like, is he going to is he going to play more than half the year? And Jimmy, is he going to play more than 65 games? Their coach is Spoelstra. I love Spoelstra. So I think
Spo will get the most out of that team.
Yeah, and Bam is also kind of set out for a breakout year. So okay, where are we at? Number 8.
Yeah.
So what's the final spot? Is that Ian, right? So what's the final spot?
This is a hard one, man. This is hard because there's a few teams. Let me give you a bunch of. I'll name some teams and you can
Okay.
I want to realistically say, the Hawks. I do.
Oh.
But you could also say the Pistons. You could also say the Magic. And my dark horse team is the Cavs. I won't lie. I think if Darius Garland is good, then they'll be good. I'm saying it.
Yeah, buddy, say it.
Oh my God.
I will say it. If Garland's good, they might make it. But I'm going with Hawks. That's my final answer.
Okay, Hawks.
Atlanta Hawks.
I mean, Trae Young show. Let's see what happens. Vince Carter.
He's good, man.
Vince Carter will he'll dunk and warm
I
ups.
like John Collins and Alex Len. I think those guys are pretty good. They're competent players. I don't know. It's weird pickings. You could go with a Magic. What do you guys think? The 8's a bit of a toss up.
I personally it's the Hawks because this is how we're doing it, right?
Sure.
so this is what's up. But I would have personally had the Magic. I actually have the Magic. In seventh place. It's weird.
Also, it depends if the emergence of Markelle Fultz is interesting. What if he is all of a sudden the player that he can be?
I mean, that I think would really elevate what they have. But I just think
the team was supposed to be crafty.
Yeah, but I think the development of Isaac and Gordon and Vucevic having a 80% of the year he had.
You're right.
I just think they have maybe that's fresh off of playing them in the playoffs and being like, man, this team's way better than I thought they were.
I think you might be right. I think I could probably change my answer, but I'm locked in Atlanta because this is the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously,
exactly.
You could certainly make a case for Orlando.
No, I mean, they are also still starting DJ Augustine, who we cut from our team 3 years ago. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not that confident.
The coolest. Yeah, very true.
Okay, who's number 9, Katie?
The Pistons.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, totally.
I think. I probably would have, this is my personal ranking, I would have ranked them a little bit higher. I was sort of bummed with how little happened to them last season. Not that I actually thought Griffin was going to be their big turnaround, but just Casey sort of getting into them. I think maybe hopefully he wanted a season with them to see how things shook out. They're just kind of a weird group of weirdos.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I really I don't know. I like Von Maker. I hope he kind of has a better season than he did last season. He kind of got forgotten about. I like Tony Snell. I love Andre Drummond.
Me too. And he's I kind of I sided with Andre in the Embiid Andre battle because it was funny at first, and then I was like, Embiid, you're starting to bully this man. You know what I mean? And then now I love Andre.
Him. Yeah. I don't know. They're just a nice weird little team. I like teams like this.
Yeah.
They're due for a bit of an underdog kind of season.
I hope so. I'm rooting for Casey. That's the first thing when I met Blake this summer, and the first thing I said to him that was about basketball and not comedy was that I'm so happy you're with Dwayne Casey. And he looked at me.
What did he say?
His face said before he said anything, I can't believe you just said that. It's we're all drunk and it's 3 a.m. And I did not expect that. But he was like, yeah, Case is awesome. And he basically was just saying, and then he kind of veered into a territory about saying that there's very few special coaches in the world. Oh. So I was like, oh, is that a dig on Casey? But then while I was thinking about, was that a dig on Casey? He just straight up was like, yeah, Nurse inherited such a ridiculously good team. It's just he's driving a Lamborghini, which I think is a Nurse quote. So it's interesting to hear someone like it get filtered out through the world and then hear someone use that against Nurse. Anyways,
I said that against Nurse. The same thing.
I mean, it's true, right? Like he inherited a ridiculously deep team, and again, and talented, and I think he did what he needed to do, and he was great. Okay, so is it on me now? You said Pistons. No, it's back to Ian. Okay, Ian, do you want to run down? Do you remember what teams are left?
I mean, are we talking about who's 10th in the Eastern Conference?
We are. We're there now.
Oh God.
No, this is 11th.
I mean, is it?
I don't think Orlando's been picked yet.
Yeah, no, Orlando's 9 and Detroit's 10.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So 11th in I'll say the Cleveland Cavaliers, man.
Oh,
I like Darius Garland guy. I think he could be good. There's a lot of talk about him, and he got hurt in college, but apparently he would have been projected maybe number 1, and obviously Zion is crazy, but I don't know. And I liked Colin Sexton when they picked him last year too. He's a gritty guy. He can maybe give them something. Kevin Love looks like he's had quite the vacation, so maybe he'll be ready to play. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm going with the Cavs. I like it. Okay, I'm kind of stuck in a place here because there's a part of me that like I felt like so many people were underappreciated in that Boston run. And you know, that's all directed towards my like hatred of Brad Stevens. I don't actually hate him, but I think Rozier is a starting level point guard, and I want to say Charlotte, but then there's another part of me that is thinking they're going to try to be bad. So then I'm thinking Chicago. I'm going to go Chicago because I think they have some talent, and I think Chicago's kind of like not trying to tank. Like that's where we're at now. You know what I mean? We're debating if the team's trying to win or lose. Right? Like, or am I don't know.
No, that's where we're at.
Okay, so Chicago is number 12. 3 more teams. Those teams are, what are the teams?
The Knicks, the Wizards,
and Charlotte.
Yeah.
I'm going Knicks.
Wait,
is it my turn?
It's Katie.
So. Sorry,
it's Katie.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
That's okay. I'm gonna go Wizards though.
Nice.
Okay, Brad Beal.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Wizards team. I like Brad Beal. I feel like he has it. I like Otto Porter Jr. a lot.
He's in Chicago now, though.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's like, when it's like the dregs of the NBA, there's a part of you that's always like, wait, who's on Memphis? Sorry.
Like, I know what Otto Porter did on his vacation, but I missed the whole going to Chicago thing. I don't know what's going to be up with John Wall, but like, you know, I like John Wall and Bradley Beal. Rui Hachimura, who we were just talking about, is on the Wizards. So I don't want him to come in last his first year in the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm a sound logic.
It's fair.
Okay.
And our man, CJ Miles plays there now.
Oh, CJ Miles. What's going on, buddy?
All right.
Traded for Dwight Howard, by the way. They both just must have been like, oh.
The sad high fives they pass each other.
Yeah. But CJ's so happy. CJ's PJs, come on.
Yeah.
Ian, are the Knicks the worst team?
Or Charlotte?
Or is Charlotte the worst team?
You want to say the Knicks, but I'm not going to because of RJ Barrett. I really like RJ Barrett. I think that he's going to be a great NBA player. I hope that his career goes well, and so I hope that he shines in New York. And
I love it.
They play. They finish not dead last.
Wow.
Okay, so here's our rundown. Okay, we got Raptors, Bucks, Sixers, Nets, Celtics, Pacers, Heat, Hawks, Magic, Pistons, Cavaliers, Bulls, Wizards, Knicks,
Hornets.
Okay, let's do this last NBA question and pop over to our quickish questions. So this is kind of just an abstract question. If you have thoughts on it, cool. If you don't, also cool. But the Wiggins thing, again, like I'm clearly wrapped up in like, this is my Westworld. You know what I mean? Like, like my maze leads to like, you know what I'm saying? Like my maze leads to like the understanding of Wiggins, right. and like what potential is and money. And like, so I'm on my own journey. Fair enough. Right. But people always talk about like drive and intensity and fire. And, players back in the day were always described as like knuckleheads and like just this kind of like vagary that I no, people used to say that. Like I was just listening to a podcast with Quentin Richardson, and he was calling everybody knuckleheads.
Knucklehead's a good one.
I know, right?
I like calling people turkey too. Turkey's funny.
Turkey's good. Turkey's good.
What are you doing, turkey?
Yeah. But that makes me like if someone called me a turkey, I'd be like, you're all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not bad.
But so I guess like I'll start with you, Katie. Like when you hear this stuff, like do you relate to that type of language? Do you feel like it's anecdotal? Like obviously there's defensive metrics and all that kind of stuff, but how do you quantify like hard work and growth and like that Kyle Lowry fire?
I don't think you can, and I don't think you like really want to, because I think for me, it's always the unquantifiable stuff that makes it more like magic and special to watch, like a player come alive. Like when Lowry has these elusive, like we hate Lowry when he disappears, but then when he comes back in those moments and like does exactly what he needs to when he needs to, and just like takes complete control of the game, it's kind of like alchemy, right? Like I don't think you want to quantify it too hard. I think that's what makes it so special and kind of rare, not just in him and like any player who has the capacity to do that,
No, I mean, that's
what I think.
I love that. Like, okay, just random aside here. I saw TED Talk one time with, who's the director, Matt, you'd know, who does Lost? What's that guy's name?
The show? The director does the whole show?
Yeah.
They have like different directors for.
Okay, well, listen, this is a bad aside.
Fincher.
Okay, this is a bad aside. Basically, he had a whole thing about receiving a magic set from his grandma in a box, and then listen, spoiler on the TED Talk if you're going to listen to that TED Talk, but he kind of like reveals in the end that he's never going to open the box because whatever he can imagine in the box is just far greater than whatever's in that box. And anyways, yeah, I'm essentially weirdly agreeing with Katie's point in my TED Talk.
Fair
example. Anyways, yeah, Ian, like, yeah, sorry, man, that was a bit of a dead end. But I basically agree, you know what I mean? Like, maybe next time I'll just say I agree. But, oh God, we're having fun out here, Jeez. But yeah, so Ian, like, people always talk about basketball in these terms. Like, does that bother you? Like, are you like, hey, don't talk about it. Like, let's enjoy the mystery of life, or you know what I mean?
Like hustle and all that.
Yeah. Or do you point at a guy and you say like, that guy doesn't have?
I don't know, man. I think it's always a nice stuff like hustle and everything is when you see it on any kind of sport. We appreciate it as being like couch jockeys. Look at that guy. He's really trying. These guys are trying. But this guy's really. So, but I mean, if you're trying to quantify it, I think that if you're trying to quantify hustle, maybe, or have a metric for it, could you have some weird stat where you divide time on court by the amount of deflections or like chase down blocks or like tipped balls or offensive rebounds? Like, I'm sure there's some statistician that could make some sort of like, hustle metric or something. But do you need it? I don't know. I don't think you need it because, like you said, it's the point of you don't need a stat to tell you this guy's hustling. You watch the game and you appreciate the player doing it as they do it.
Yeah.
Did I answer the question?
You did.
I think you did.
I think we all answered it.
Yeah.
And Katie did first. Yeah. And the answer is respect the mystery of life.
Yeah.
And also basketball.
Man. Yeah, don't open the box.
You don't need stats for everything, and just enjoy the beauty of the game, right?
Yeah, you hear that, Matt? This is Matt's question, by the way. No, I'm just trying to throw Matt under the bus.
Under the bus.
Okay, let's move over to Quickish Questions. Maddie, would you give me that sting?
Quickish Questions.
Okay, if you're at home, you just probably went wild. You know what I mean? You know what time it is, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean? Like, if you're like listening to this podcast, like having a shower, you just like friggin' freaked out. You know what I mean? Like, and almost fell and like didn't, you know? But, okay. You both know how this works. Matt, you know what's up. You got to answer as quick as you can. Matt's waiting for me to say, don't phone a friend. We just both did the same kind of like finger gun thing too. You know, my questions might not make that much sense. That doesn't matter.
That's okay.
You just got to go for it.
Yeah. Just read them as best you can.
Okay. We ready?
Yeah.
Katie, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Who is going to win the FIBA World Cup?
France.
Love it. Ian. And I can help you out a bit here because the person who took the question provided a list in case you don't know.
Okay.
Who's in the Team Canada starting lineup given all of the dropouts?
Who's in the starting lineup?
That's right. AKA, can you name 5 Canadian players who are playing?
I didn't get this.
I know.
Yeah. Are there any Canadian? Are there any NBA players?
There is still a bunch.
They're like,
what's
his name? Who played for the Magic? Nick. Like not. I want to say Reynoldson, but it's not him. Like,
it's the comedian Nick Reynoldson. That's
the comedian Nick Reynoldson. If he's listening, shout out to Nick.
Is Brady Heslip there?
Nick Stauskas?
Heslip?
No. I don't think is he on the team?
No,
I don't know.
So. I think he's over.
Listen,
I don't think I can name one player right now. I can name a lot of Canadian players.
Wow, that's rude, Matt. That's rude. Corey Joseph.
I can't answer the question.
Let's just say Corey Joseph. You know what I mean? Like by himself.
Sure.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah.
Could we see O'Shea Brissett, Nick Stauskas, and RJ Barrett together on the Raptors to form a Mississauga super team?
Wow. Yeah. I like that. And I want them to have a little more experience, though. So let's put it at around 2024.
Okay. You didn't need to wink. You did not need to wink at me and make
wink
that
and
sound.
A click. You got to wink and a click.
I didn't want that. Katie, it's actually a question for you. For Katie, who is the summer vacation MVP?
I can tell you already. You got to wait 2 weeks when Summer Vacation Watch MVP is announced.
Okay. You hear that?
I will say there are some strong contenders. I'd say it's very close, but there's still time.
Okay.
A lot can happen in 2 weeks.
Okay, I like it. Ian, this is a legit question. You know what I mean? It's
finally.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not like just a question that I didn't prepare for enough. What are you doing to prepare for the Raptors 905 open tryouts?
Wow.
You know what? I have been doing, I've got these little 5-pound weights I try to do some stretching with, and I've been stretching my hamstrings a lot, actually.
Oh, that's smart.
But I did recently, they had those chocolate ice cream bars, those Magnum ones on sale at Shoppers. So I bought 2 packs of those.
Okay. Oh, those are deadly.
So stuff like that.
This is the last question. We'll go Katie first, then Ian.
Okay.
Sorry, Matt, but it doesn't really apply to you. And because it's a dig on me, that's why.
Cheers.
And it's fine. If you ask a question, I will read it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, Katie, did Freddie give you more than a day's notice to do the podcast?
You did this time, actually.
Yes.
And you texted me. You didn't just send me a message
Wow.
to the Facebook Messenger void.
Honestly, I'm really starting to turn it around.
Yeah.
Ian, same goes to you. Did I give you more than 2 days notice for the pod?
Oh, yes, you did. To your credit, I was notified, and I had lots of time to prepare. Freddie was very professional. Whoever wrote that question, he's very professional indeed.
It's funny because it's largely not true. I do ask people too late, too often, and that's on me.
I will say that your physio appointments are hard to nail down. They're a bit of a phantom. They pop in and out.
The knee, dude.
I'll also say this: the LCL is coming along.
Yeah.
But that's it for the pod.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Katie, let's start with you. I mean, like summer vacation watch, obviously, but please plug away. Everyone check out all of Katie's stuff, but Katie, please.
Yeah, NBA summer vacation watch. I hate that it's coming to a close, but realistically we got about 2 weeks left, maybe a 3-week stretch, depending on what wild shit Paul Pierce stays up to. And I also have a basketball newsletter. I just moved it over to Substack. It's called Basketball Feelings.
Cool.
So feel free to subscribe to that. It's extremely emotional, especially in the off season, it seems.
Good.
And then what else? Oh, I'm kind of like, I started on as basically like a freelance, but still like freelancer at large for Up Rocks for Dime Magazine. So I'll have like way more stuff coming out through them. And like, I don't know, cooking up a lot of fun stuff for the fall. But summer vacation watch is my main focus. So please read it.
Cool.
And weep.
Hell yeah. Well, Katie, you're a goddamn delight. And thank you for doing this podcast. We're always lucky to have you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And, I'll do a better job, right? Like of like booking, all that stuff.
You did a great job.
It's going to get really in your head now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. My buddy who wrote in that question, he knows what he did to me.
Yeah.
Ian, we just did a show together. You're great. You're hilarious. What's going on? What shows can people check out or yeah, what's up?
Well, I got lots of shows coming up. There's some shows I'm doing actually this Tuesday at Comedy Bar. There's 5 for 5 comedy. That's always a fun show. If you want to just see good stand-up comedy in Toronto, I recommend Comedy Bar. But yeah, Tuesdays 9:30 is a straight just stand-up show, and I'm on it on the 27th, so it should be a fun show.
Cool. I actually did that show last night.
Yeah.
And yeah, it went well. I stepped off a stage for a joke, and then I was pretty scared.
Yeah.
That I was going to like buckle my knee.
Oh, yeah.
But worked out. Okay, cool.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for everyone who listens to the podcast and all the support and feedback. And yeah, we're still growing and we're headed for a repeat. So we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Can anyone around here speak basketball?
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.